In today's video, we're going to be going over 5 myths of keeping a home clean and 5 tips on how to maintain a clean home. We'll be going over how to not have to clean on weekends, shifting out of the perfection mindset, creating systems for decluttering, fitting cleaning into a busy schedule, and how to keep it simple. If you're someone who's overwhelmed with balancing taking care of a baby and maintaining a clean home, then keep watching as we're going to break some cleaning myths and give you 5 tips on how to maintain a home in a realistic fashion.
So the first myth is you have to clean every day. Nothing says you have to use your multi-purpose cleaner or your glass cleaner every single day. The only thing you have to do every day is just declutter. So if you have a big mess in the kitchen and the sink, put some dishes in the dishwasher or wash up a handful of dishes. But you don't have to clean everything spotless every single day. The myth number 2 is that you can't keep up with it. A lot of people tell you that with a baby you can't keep up with a clean house every single day. It's always going to be a mess. No. When we were pregnant with Riley, everybody that I worked with always told me that you're never going to be able to keep the house clean. It's always going to be a mess. That kind of thing. And we're going to tell you how to prove them wrong.
And so myth number 3 is that you have to clean on weekends. Like that's the only time that you have to be able to clean because of work schedules. We like to keep the weekends for family time. And so we like to put our cleaning days on a weekday. We like to start our weeks with a clean home early on in the week and then kind of maintain it a little bit as the week goes on.
So expanding on not cleaning on the weekends is you want to spend every moment you can with family, because family isn't going to be around forever. And you don't know who's going to be here tomorrow morning when you wake up and who's not going to be. And you also want to enjoy every moment that you can with your newborn, because they're not going to stay small forever. And you want to enjoy every moment that you can.
Myth number 4 is that it has to be perfect. The house is never going to be perfect. Nothing really is perfect. So what we like to do is when things start to get messy around the house, especially with like a new baby, things like a nursing pillow or like the baby's toys, or as long as we have it like in a manageable way. It's almost like we want to have like guardrails, so to speak, because like at the end of the night we'll like talk about it a little bit later that we'll pick it up and kind of put it back to square one, after the fact. So if it gets a little off base for a little while, that's okay. But over the course of the day, you don't have to come up picking up over and over and over again. You can just pick it up at the end of the day. That goes into myth number 5, which is making sure that it has to be cleaned up throughout the day. A lot of perfectionists, even like myself, like when something goes out of place, they put it back right away and put it back where you found it. Yes, that is the case, but it doesn't have to be like instantly. I think that you would drive yourself mad over a course of time trying to like always making sure the house is spotless. Letting it get a little bit offhand for a little while is fine. And at the end of the day, you can just pick it up and kind of bring things back to where it needs to be. That segues into the next part of the video, which is the top 5 tips that we've come up with in terms of being able to keep a clean home, especially with a baby in the house. And number 1 is we're just scheduling 15 minutes per day at the end of the day before you go to bed to tidy up the house, declutter the house, and put things back where they're supposed to go.
It's best to wait before you go to bed so that when you wake up in the morning, you'll have a fresh, clean house for you. And it's one less thing you have to worry about the next morning.
So the baby is eating right now. And so this is the nighttime clean where I'll go around and see kind of things where things are out of place and tidy it up a bit. It is quite a mess. She's about to have her bath. Tip number 2 is to make sure that everything has a place. Everything in your house should have a place to go. What we did back in the summer was we had something we called operation organization, and that was where we organized the entire home that we have, and to ensure that everything has a place and is very organized and easily accessible, and also like downsizing certain things as well.
Yeah, and making sure that everything is labeled. Like if you have a section for chargers, have a label called chargers. If you have a section for sheets, have a label called sheets. If you have a section for baby sheets, make sure you label it baby sheets. Because if you label it, it'll be easier for you to realize that's where things have to go.
And tip number 3 would be to move your cleaning day to a weekday, preferably earlier in the week is what we do, but it depends on each person's work schedule. But you don't want to clutter your weekend with clutter, you know? You don't want to have too much cleaning going on during the weekend, because the weekend is time for family, it's time for, you know, to spend time with like your relatives, with the baby. You got to be okay with, you know, taking like one weekday and kind of making that like a day to clean. And even if it is on top of working or some kind of life responsibility that you may have going on during the week, I think it's best to do it during that day and be okay with that day kind of being something that you kind of block out. And then that way you could devote your free time, your actual full daytime, to be able to spend time with family. This is us cleaning on a Monday morning, getting the kitchen all situated from the mess that it accumulates throughout the week. We also take the time to clean Riley's bottles. We soak them in here, and then we go and brush them out and everything like that.
So tip number 4 is to clean when your baby is occupied. Now, we got fortunate enough to get a swing with our baby shower. So we have a swing that Riley likes to go in every day. And when she's in her swing, swinging back and forth, listening to the sounds that come with it, that's when we take our time to clean. You could even do it when the baby is sleeping. If you get lucky enough to have a baby that sleeps through the night and they just nap throughout the day, you can use that as a few times of the day to actually clean your house, like wash the mirrors or wash the windows or whatever the case may be.
Also, if you have a partner or someone who is willing to help you around the house, to take care of your baby, doing the cleaning during like the feeding. And what we do is like when you're feeding, I'm cleaning the house, especially at the end of the night. That 15-minute clean that I was referring to earlier, she'll be feeding and I'll be cleaning up the house, making sure it's all tidy up. And so tomorrow morning when we wake up, it's like back to a baseline of how we like the home to be. And that way we're not having to have at the end of the week have a crazy amount of mess and get overwhelmed, and then once it gets overwhelmed, it's just like a downward spiral and you'll never get to it. So, and then tip number 5 would be just create a simple system. What works for us may not work for everybody, but the main thing is just to keep it simple. Our motto here for Star Baby Star is to keep things simple, and it's parenting made simple. And so what we suggest is just to keep a system in place of how you want to clean your home so it doesn't overwhelm you. You can be able to develop a habit, and even if it's just a little bit every day rather than having a lot on your plate at once. So that way you can keep a tidy home, which is also a peace of mind that you can have, that when you have a clean home, it's one less thing that clutters your mind, because when you have a house that's clean, then it's one less thing to worry about. So
and it gives you a peace of mind.
It gives you peace of mind. Yeah, it's one less thing that's rattling around your brain, like, oh my gosh, I still have to do the dishes, or oh my gosh, I still have to do this. You know that there's something in place already. So really helps for us.
So thank you for watching. Make sure you put a like and then subscribe to our channel for more parenting tips and parenting hacks. Next week's video we'll be talking about meal prepping and what works for us. We'll see you guys in the next video.